Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Kiddushin daf Lamed Gimel. We're going to begin on Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, the second line from the top. We were discussing the mitzvah of Kibbud Avim, honoring one's parents. Amar Mar Yochol Yihadrenu b'mamoin. You would think when it comes to honoring, in this case, a gadol or someone who's an elder, in which you're supposed to stand up for them, maybe you're also supposed to honor them with money. So just like standing up doesn't cost any money, so too, when it comes to honoring, should also be without money. So on this, the Gemara says, how do you want to tell me for sure that by you standing up, you're not losing money? Could we not be talking about the nakiv marganisa? So what ends up happening is that you're busy doing a task. For example, fashioning a diamond. You're a jeweler, and it's a very expensive thing that you're doing. It costs a lot of money, the time that you're putting into it, and all of a sudden you're stopping to do your work because you have to stand up for him. So that's chisar and kiss. El akash kimol hider. My hider she'en bo bittul av kima she'en bo bittul. That just like when it comes to honoring, it should not require bittul malacha. Says Rashi, the enosh and hider ela nesias panim, like showing respect. Oba mamon obi kiva devarim. Vein ba mashmo bittul malacha. So you don't have to actually be mavatal your malacha. Av kima she'en bo bittul. The akash nami hider lekima. Ma kima she'en bo chisar and kiss is no financial loss. Av hider she'en bo chisar and kiss. Mekan amru. From here we learn if you're involved in your work and the Talmid Chacham walks by, you don't have to stand up for them, because there's no din of standing up when it comes to being with bittul malacha. You don't have to engage in bittul malacha. Says Rashi, Shein bi chisarin kis val karchach lo nichtav hidar el lidreish. Okay. Below, is that the case? You want to tell me that you're not supposed to stand up when someone is oisik in a mitzvah, but not kol bali and when it comes to the people who are bringing bikurim, and they were passing by and they're in Yerushalayim, you're supposed to stop your work. It says it clearly. It doesn't matter what you're doing, and you greet them. You should go in peace. You should speak to them and greet them and bless them. So that's all bittul malacha. So if the Torah is saying when it comes to doing a mitzvah of standing up for an elder or a chacham, it's not necessary. Again, you're not supposed to be engaged. You don't have to do bittul malacha. You don't have to stop your work. So how come by bikurim? You're right, but there's a chiluk. When it comes to a Talmid Chacham, you don't stand up for him. However, a person who's engaged in a mitzvah, so that person you do stand up for. So Rabbi Yosi Bar Oven, this is brought down many places, including Psachim. Boyre, come and see Kama Chaviva Mitzvah B'Shaita. How great is the mitzvah in this time? Shahari Mibneihem Oimdim. Mibnei Talmid Chachamim Ein Oimdim. For a Talmid Chacham, we don't stand, but since this person is oisik in the mitzvah, so therefore we stand up. The Dilma, maybe this is not a raya that when it comes to all mitzvos, you're supposed to stand up when someone's about to shikol an esrog. Why here? Says Rashi, they're not going to come and bring bikurim anymore. Shiamur nivzin anu b'neihem, they look lowly upon us. Lamishum chiba mitzvah havi mil b'nei adam. You don't have to stand up for someone that you know does mitzvos. But in this case, there's a great level of sensitivity. These people are bringing their first fruits. They're coming from a different land, and they may be a little bit on edge. And if a person doesn't feel like they're being treated right, so why should I do it again? So we have to be extra sensitive and careful to those people to make sure that they continue to do mitzvos. That's the explanation. Okay. Omer Mar. Yochel Yamid Mipanav maybe you have to stand up for them in a bathroom. Velo, you tell me you don't have to. He was in a Bei Maschusa, Rashi is in a merchatz in a bathhouse. The Cholaf also Reb Shimon bar Rebbe, so he was passing by. Velo Mikamei didn't stand up in front of him. V'ikbid, he got very upset. Like, well, you're supposed to stand up. We also, he said to his father, Shnei Chumashim, Shanisi lo b'Sefer Tehillim, 2/5 of Sefer Tehillim I learned. I'm a big shot. I learned 2/5 of Tehillim. I don't know who ever has made that statement before, but the point is that again, the question is, how can you tell me that you're not supposed to stand up for someone to base a kisei, base a merchatz, receive a farish you're supposed to? Vasu Viter. Bar Kapara, the Amrullah, some say it was Rabbi Shmuel bar Yaisi, Rabbi Yosef Bei Maschusa, again he was in a bathhouse. Oyav Az Rabbi Shimon bar Rebbe, so you have the same, maybe it's the same bathhouse, because it's the same person, Shimon bar Rebbe was there. V'loka Mikamei, Bikbid, again didn't stand up in front of him, he got upset. V'yasa Amrullah Lavua, Shnei Shlishi Shlish, Shanisi Lo B'Taras Kohanim. 2/3 of a third, 2/9 of Taras Kohanim I know. V'amad mipanai, v'amar lo, he said Shema behen Yoshev Maharher. Maybe they were just so busy thinking, their mind was preoccupied, didn't even know you were there. They would have stood up for you otherwise, of course. So Taima to behen Yoshev Maharher. The reason why they didn't stand up maybe is just some excuse he made up. However, holav hachi lo. So you do have to stand up for someone in a bathhouse. So my answers, Lukasha. Hababati gavoy, habati baroi. Let's look at Rashi. Maybe it was here the Torah hayav haven ba'avur cholafana. They didn't know you were there. Bati gavoy. Makam shmini adam aimdim arumim. If you're in a place where people are standing and they're naked, v'ahad Rav Shimon Rebbe b'bati baroi. They're outside. Makam sha'aim levushim. People wearing clothes, the hasam makam hiderhu. That is a makam hider, and therefore in that location, you do have to stand up and show respect for them. Question TA 30. In sarach lokum imnei rabo bebeis hamerchatz bebeis gavoy in sarach bati baroi sarach. Okay, very, very clear. TA 30. Haba bati gavoy. Habati baroi. Okay. Weiter. Let me just say this. Okay. All right, let's continue with the Gemara. Habati gavoy, habati baroi. Hachanam mastar b'diyam rabba. You're not allowed to even have hirhurim. You're not allowed to think Torah in these places. Dilma unsishani. Maybe an oinus is different. In other words, the fact he said maybe they were thinking Torah, they were so Isaac in learning Torah they didn't notice you were standing there. What do you mean? It was a makom where you're not allowed to learn Torah, where you're naked, so you're not allowed to have that machshava. It must be because it's a raya that they're attacking the outside, where people are lavush. And you are allowed to have hirhurim. The answer is no, that's not necessarily a raya, because maybe it was just an oinus. Says Rashi, Pamayim shehu Torah ma'ayin b'shmuate lefnei kisas merchatz. You were learning Torah seconds before you went to the base of merchatz. V'alkarchachi shigur b'fiv v'libo ma'ayin bo base of merchatz. You have nothing. You can't control your mind to be able to stop thinking about it. Maybe you can just close your eyes. Oh, there's a Talmud Chacham walking by. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm not going to let him see that I'm looking at him, and he'll just walk by. And when I open up my eyes, oh, he's gone. So, you can't do that. Right? The Gemara, to what? We're talking about Russia. It's one thing you don't do a mitzvah, but you're like pretending that this guy is crazy. How could you even have a havamina that this is acceptable? Why need a pasuk to tell you? El yochel yatzim enav mikmei dilmati zman chiyuva. Maybe again, it's not that he's right in front of you. Close your eyes, like I don't care, I'm not looking at you. You know he's coming. He's going to be in front of you in a few seconds. He has no idea. And you can just all of a sudden just go like this, pretend like you're studying. And also when he walks by, you won't have noticed that he walked by. When you're chayiv, you didn't see him to come and command to stand up. Talmud Lomar talking about Yoresa, that you have to have Yiras Hashem. Tana. What is standing which is honorable? Havi Omer Zed Dalad Amos. It's within your Dalad Amos. Amar Rabbi Lo Amar Ella Barabba Shein Muvhak. Avol Barabba Hamuvhak Maloi Einov. If we're dealing, the only time is if it's a Rabbi who's a Rabbi Shein Muvhak, like you're not your number one Rabbi that you learn the most from. However, if it's a Rabbi Muvhak, then Maloi Einov. As soon as you see him, you have to stand up. Abaye Machi Havi Chazile Udne the Chamra. Rav Yosef. Once he saw the ears of the donkey of Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef was on that donkey. The Asi Havi Koim. He would stand up already. Abaye Havi Rachel Chamra. He was riding a donkey. They call Maske Aguda de Nahar, and he was riding like by the edge of by this river. They were on the other side. They'll come and command. They didn't stand up. No, understand. Am I not your Rav Muvhak? Why aren't you standing up? Amrulei Lav Adaitin. Says Rashi, Shahayu Tarudin. Right, we didn't recognize to stand up. We're so busy. But the truth is, Moli Einov is required. So even if he's far away, you still have to stand up. Question 8. B'mi yesh chiyav l'moed lefanav k'moli Einov. So the answer so far is a Rabbi Muvhak. Okay. Or Shimon ben Elazar Oimer, Menayin lezaken shliat riach. The zaken shouldn't like go out of his way to make you keep standing up. Talmud Omer zaken aresa. He also has to show fear. Amar Abaya naktinan di'imakiv chaye. That if the zaken goes around so that people don't have to stand up, that's going to give him life. Abaya makif Reb Zera, makif Ravina, Havi Yosef came to Reb Yomi and Medifti. So Abaya makif, so he would go around. Rav Zera Makif, he would go around. Ravina Havi Yosef Kamei to Rav Yirmi, who was sitting in front of Rav Yirmi, Medifti. Cholaf Ahu Gavr Kamei. And there was this person that was passing in front of him. V'lo Mechse Reisha. He didn't have his head covered. Amr Kama Chotzef HaGavra. How despicable and disrespectful this person is. Amr Dilma Mamasa Mechasya Nihu Digisi Morabanon. Maybe he's from the city of Machasya, where there's a lot of rabbis. It actually says, Tamid Regilim Etzlam, Belibim Gasel Chachamim Kilu Hemehem. It's like, so he's just used to it. Okay, weiter. Isa ben Yehuda Omer, Memnei Seva Takum, Yafilu Kol Seva Babashma. Anyone, namely even if he's not such a great person, but since he's old, we have to value his life experiences. Rabbi Yochanan Halachis ben Yehuda, you have to stand up for him too. Rabbi Yochanan Havi Koim Kamei Sabi de Ar Moi. He would actually stand up even for elders of Armenians. Omer Kama Harpatke Adu Alaihu Dahani. Says Rashi, Mikrois Vitsarois Vro Nisim Harbe Umaivsim. They've seen so much, they've gone through so much in life, so many life experiences, they've seen wonders and miracles and troubles. We should stand up for them. Rava make him Lokoi, Rava wouldn't stand up for them, Hider Ovid Luhu, but he showed some element of respect. Abaya Yod Yad Wasabi. He used to give his hand to these people. Rava Mishader Shluche. He would send a messenger instead. Rav Nachman Mishader Guzoi. Rav Nachman used to send officers. Says Rashi, Lavi Shahya Sar Chasan Hanasi, Yabastin Hayuragil La'amal Lafana, Misharsa Lahakais Lachayf. So he had these officers that were near him. Says Rashi, In Chashibusi Bishil Atzmiel Bishil Taira. Amar Ilav Taira, Kama Nachman Barabi Ika Bashuka. Okay. Amar Rav Aiva Imar Rav Yanai. So I have to contribute my greatness to Torah. So again, I have to show respect to Torah. So Amar Rav Yanai, as we continue to Lamed Gimel Amud Beis. Ein Talmud Chacham Rashai Lamoid B'nei Rabbi El Shachas V'Arvis. You cannot stand up. A student should not stand up for his teacher more than once in the morning, once at night. That's it. He shouldn't show more respect to his teacher than Hashem. So Meisvei Rav Shimon ben Elazar Omer Manan Lo Zaken Shel Yatriach says he shouldn't go out of his way in trouble. Talmud Omer Zaken Miresa. Now V'yamar Shachas V'Yarvis Bilvad. If you only have to stand up twice anyway, Amaylo Nitrach Chayubahu. What do you mean? What's the whole problem? That's considered to be a tircha. This is something he should do. So Elolav Kul Yalma Elolav Kul Yoima Loy. So rather, really, it's Kul Yoima. It's all day. You always have to stand up for him. That's why you shouldn't be matriach. Lo oilam shachs v'aras b'vad. So what's the tircha? Fil hacha kam diyasher lo nitrach. As much as you don't have to matriach him, don't be matriach. So even though it's true, you only have to stand up twice, once in the morning, once at night, but at the same time, you don't want to have to be matriach even that. Amar Belezer, Kol Talmud Chacham shein oimid b'nei Rabbi. Any Talmud Chacham, you're a Talmud Chacham, but if you don't stand up in front of your Rebbe, you don't show respect for your elders and your teachers, Nikra Rasha, you're considered to be wicked. Deinu marach yomim, you're not going to be richas yomim. But Talmud mishtakeach, you think you're such a big Talmud Chacham, your Torah is going to be forgotten. Shenemar v'toiv lo yel Rasha, good will not be to the Rasha, and Rashi says ein toiv lo Torah. Fine. V'lo yarach yomim ela katzel. V'lo yarach yomim katzel, like the shade asher einenu. It's like it doesn't exist. Einenu yorim lifnei elokim. Marazu and Yodei Mahu. I don't know what this is referring to. Gushal Rabbi Reisam Elokech, I'm hearing Hashem. So Hari Mara Zukim, which is referring to not standing up in front of this Rebbe. Veima Modas Ribis Amras Mishkalois. Maybe it's talking about charging, being unethical in business practices, like charging interest or false weights. Rabbi Lezer Pnei Gomer. He has a Gezer Shava to tell you that no, it's Dafka talking about standing up. Iboilhu Benov hu Rabbi Mahu. What if you're the son and you're also the teacher? In other words, the son's supposed to stand up for the father. The son's supposed to stand up for a Rebbe. But what if the son is the Rebbe? Mahu lamad mini aviv. So what's the din about standing? Tashamadi Yarmele Shmuel Rabbi Huda Shinna Kum Avuch. Stand in front of your father. Although he was his father's Rebbe. Even though he was his father's Rebbe, he should still stand up for his father. So when it comes to the son, even though he is the Rebbe, should stand up for the father. No, Shani Rabbi Cheskel the Bal Maisim Havi. Diafil Mar Shmuel Nami Koi Mekamei. Shmuel also used to stand up for him as well because he was a Bal Maisim. He did a lot of great mitzvahs. He was a lot of great things. So that's not a raya that a son who is a Rebbe has to stand up for the father. Ella my Karmelei, Haka Karmelei. Zimnin the Asim Yachorai. Sometimes he'll come from back. Kum at Mikamei. If the father walked behind me, get up. V'lotechash likarididi. Don't worry about my honor. Stand up and show respect to your father. So it sounds like perhaps it's in the Boy the Lishtor. Maybe it does answer that he should still do it. It's not so clear. Iboyhu. Benoivahu rabo mahu shiamad aviv mipanov. The first one is should the son stand up for his father. Here, should the father stand up for the son? So Tashman, the Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, ani kadai lamim b'ni. I'm not kadai to stand up in front of my son, el mishum kavod based nasi, except for the fact of kavod based nasi. Taima dano Rabbi, because I'm a teacher. Ha'ihu Rabbi, what mashma if he was the teacher, kamina mikamei, I would stand up for him. So maybe the father is supposed to stand up for his son if the son is a Rebbe. Ani kadai lamim b'ni v'afilhu rabbi. Even if he was the Rebbe, I still would not stand up for him because a father doesn't stand up for his son. I'm the father. El mishum kavod based nasi, because of kavod based nasi is the reason. Iboilhu. Different frame of questioning. What is the din when it comes to? Actually, let's hold off 1 second. Let's do TB1. Me'ezer merchak chal hachiv lakum mipnei rabbi. I'll do it this way. I have the answers also, but let's use the actual sheet. So what is the merchak chal hachiv l'kum Rabbi? So Rabbi Shina Mubhak is Daled Amos. However, if it's a Rav Mubhak, then it's Kamale Einav. That's what they're looking for. That's TB1. Actually, let's go all the way back here. TB1. Daled Amos. Omer Rabbi Lo Omer El of Rabbi Shina Mubhak. Of a Rabbi Mubhak Kamal is Mali Einav. Okay. There's TB, which I have another new test over here. That's on the hood. Okay. Fighter. So now we have a different set of questioning. The question is, Roichav k'mahalach dami olo. So is riding like walking? So the question is, if you have a rabbi walking in front of you as zaken, so you have to stand up. What if he's riding? What if he's on a donkey and he passes by you? Now it's interesting. We already saw the story that he used to stand up once he saw his Rebbe's donkey's ears. So, which means sounds like his Rebbe was riding. So it sounds like from that should be a raya bracha mahalach dami. But we don't bring that down. Instead, Rabbi Tashma, Tame Yoshev Tachas Ilan. You have someone who is Tame, and they're sitting underneath a tree. The tar oimed, and the tar person is standing still. So Tame, that tar person who is underneath that tree, because of the Tame person who is sitting under the tree, becomes Tame. Because he's oimed, because he's standing there. Tame oimed Tachas Ilan, Vatar Yoshev Tahar. If the Tame person is standing under the tree, but the Tahar person is sitting, so then Tahar, he remains Tahar. V'im Yashav HaTameh, Hatar Tameh. So, but on the other hand, if he sits down, once the this Tame person sits down, then the Tahar person becomes Tameh. So if the Tame person is standing, it doesn't affect anyone. But once he sits down, sitting down does something. So too when it comes to an Evan, a stone with saras. It's the same din. In other words, instead of it being a Tameh person, we're talking about a person, this stone which is able to transmit Tumah. Yom Rav Nachman Bar Kayin, so we can see from here that Reichev, that riding is like Mahalach. If you think about this Evan Mugas, which is like riding with this person, says Rashi. The la batrei dideas linan el baser behema hanosasai. We go after the animal that's carrying it. The hahacha el baser even azlin. We don't go after the rock. El baser adam hanoisa azlin, the person. The e batra didazlin and afil yashav noisa nitma hatar. The e hu mesav yasav bechekai. Fine. So therefore we see reichev k'mahalich. So even if you're just riding, it looks like you're stationary. It's considered to be mahalach. It's like you're moving. Okay, and therefore that's the idea. And Evan Murugas, the din is that it is considered like mahalich, and therefore it's not going to tama anything unless you're sitting. Iboilu mahu amim sefer Torah. You have to stand in front of a Torah. It's an unbelievable question. No one would imagine. Everyone knows from a little age you're supposed to stand up for a Torah. But why? Where does it say it? There's nowhere in the Torah that says you have to stand up for Sefer Torah. So Rav Chilki of Rav Simon Rav Elazar Amri Kabachaimer. If the reason why you're standing up, why are you standing up for a Talmud Chacham? Because of the Torah that person has. So if that person has Torah, so you stand up for that person. So the Torah itself, of course you should stand up for it. Rabbi Eloy, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Zavdi, Rabbi Yasvi, they were sitting. Chol v'yozer Rabbi Shimon Bar Abba, he was passing by. They come in Mekamei, he was standing, and they stood before him. Ramahu Chada the Aton Chachime, the Ana Chaver. One is you are wise, and we're like colleagues. We're just chaverim. Vod klum Torah medes mimnei loim deha. Does the Torah stand up for its learners? So Sabak Rebbe Lezer and Rebbe Lezer and Talmud Chacham were Shal Lamad Mimnei Rabbi Yivashah Shais B'Torah. So actually they felt that while you're learning Torah, you're not supposed to stop learning Torah to stand up for someone. Right? Allah Abayit. On this, Abayit cursed this. Ahach Rabbi Lezer kol man detzayisle. He felt this was not correct. So he was saying, like, it doesn't make sense. If we're learning Torah, so why should we stand up for someone who has Torah? Doesn't make sense. We're the one, says Rashi Lafisha, oiskim b'devar halacha hayukarle l'didu Torah atzma. It's like the Torah itself. Like this is the Torah itself. So why should we stand up for a person who has Torah? We're learning Torah. On this he cursed. He said, no, you should still stand up. We see that they also were looking at Moshe until he entered his tent. So some people even spoke negatively about Moshe Rabbeinu. Can you imagine? Any leadership position, there's always criticism. But many people rather, spoke praiseworthy. He doesn't even want to mention what it is. We need Rashi to tell us what they were talking about. Mishum de davar magunahu l'ratz lefarsima. The Gemara doesn't even want to mention what they spoke about. Varihu maforish medrash reminachun tanchuma ro kama avim shvakim kama tzavaro shamin hakol mishalenu. They're commenting, oh, he has wide hips, he has a big neck, like he's a big guy, he may be eating a lot, he's taking a lot of stuff, speaking very disrespectfully about a Talmid Chacham. Shvach, my name is Shvach, Amar Chizki, Amar Rav Chanina, Bar Ravoy, Amar Ravoy, Amar Rav Avdimi, Bar Dimin Chaifa, Chacham Oiver, Oimid Milfanav Dalad Amos. So you should stand in front of him for Dalad Amos. V'kivan Avar Dalad Amos Yoshev. So if he's coming, once he gets within the Dalad Amos, you should stand, but you don't just immediately sit down. You should wait until he passes by your Dalad Amos. Based in Oiver, passing Oimin Milfanim Enav. Once you see the Av Bastin, who's just the second command after the Nasi, you should stand up immediately when you see him. However, Kivan Shavar Dalad Amos Yoshev. Once he passes Dalad Amos, says, okay, however, Nasi, Oimin Milfanim Enav. Also, when you see a Nasi, you have to stand up as soon as you see him, but you have to wait till he sits in his place. They wait until you enter the tent, which is mashma. What that means is that they would not sit down until Mole Einav, and they can no longer see him. Okay, we're going to stop here. Question 8. So who? You have to stand up Kamal Einav. So we saw before, if you have a Rabbi who's your Rabbi Muvhak, an Av Bastin, and a Nasi Adkan.